Hello, and this is just a quick update video for Wolf Cybertron Earthrise Wheeljack. If you've not seen my review, then do check that video out. I give the figure some high praise and in that video, but there is one little unfortunate thing that I've come across that may be unique to my figure or the batch that my figure was manufactured in, or it just may be a local problem to the batch or whatever, or just my figure, but I thought it was worth mentioning in case some of you have had the same problem. So essentially the problem is with these little, if you've got the figure you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, these little smoky, transparent, clear plastic pieces here that essentially, if you don't have the figure, they fold up. You pull the leg back, they fold up and become the front of the windscreen in vehicle mode. Now, as you can see, they're not pinned on, they are clipped on by this black clip here that's all one solid plastic piece. And the issue is that I've had this happen on both sides, that essentially because this is like that clear smoky plastic, essentially this loop that goes round is such thin clear plastic. I did notice that along, it's difficult for me to show you, just bear with me 1 second while I partially get his leg out of the way so you can see more what I'm talking about. Along that way, it had split, and it had split just, it might be difficult to see now because I have tried to fix it. It split just, again it's difficult to see, just to the right of my thumbnail. Don't know if you can see it. And I noticed that on, I think it was this side, a couple of days after I'd done the review for the figure. So I thought, oh, that's not good. And then about a week later, I noticed that the same thing had happened on the other side, on the other leg. That same piece, in roughly the same spot. So I don't know if it's a weakness in the moulding of the parts. I don't know. As I say, it is clear smoky plastic, and clear plastic and how that is and stuff. But yeah, I thought it was something worth mentioning. Now, once the pieces were cracked, I mean, you could clearly see they were cracked. They were a little bit looser in fit, but not loose to the point where they were, falling off or anything like that, or, you'd tap them and they'd just fall off. They were still attached fine, but I don't particularly think it's a satisfactory thing to have those pieces crack. And like I say, I think it's because this clear plastic is just so thin round here, and if you've got the figure, sometimes I think they intended this in a way that so that when you transform the legs, that these pieces, if too much pressure is applied, can pop off. And I have seen a few other people's parts, these pieces pop off when they've transformed them. So, but I just think too much in, that thin plastic will crack. Ironically, I think I'd only popped one side off when transforming it once. It wasn't something that happened a lot, but I did notice it had cracked, as I say, on both sides. So how I fixed this was, without going on and complaining too much further and taking up unnecessary moments of your time, how I fixed this, I just essentially put a blob or a drop of super glue in between the crack, and then detached, of course, from the leg of Wheeljack. I'm not going to take it off right now because I don't particularly want to risk it cracking again. and then with that piece removed, I put the blob of, drop of super glue, held it together for 30 seconds, a minute, the kind of drill the super glue. And then I did that with both sides, both pieces. I left the pieces to cure for 24 hours. And then what I did, before reattaching them, I just got a fine abrasive and removed any excess super glue from around the edge or whatever, and in the inside. And I then once I'd done that, I used just a bit of Brasso to on a cloth to polish it up and get rid of some of that roughness and that scratching that the abrasive had left. And then once I'd done that, I just gave the parts a little bit of a rinse and a light scrub, just to get rid of any excess Brasso that was on there. And then I dried them off as best I could, left them, for any moisture or whatever to evaporate for another 24 hours, whatever or so. And then I reattached the parts. So all in all, about 3 days or so, I kind of left this alone. And so far, I mean, it's worked. The parts haven't cracked again since. The bond hasn't failed. But yeah, definitely something I thought it was worth mentioning, because I would particularly like to know if anybody else has had this issue. And, just check your Wheeljack if you have it, and be careful when transforming the legs that, try not to pop these pieces off if you can help it. But yeah, do let me know if this has happened to your Wheeljack. Yeah, I'm just trying to get this leg to transform, but I'm not going to be able to do that one-handed. But yeah, still a cool figure. It's just a shame that these little QC things happen from time to time. But yeah, do let me know if this is just my figure, or whether this is kind of like a widespread problem with all of them. So thanks for watching. Hope this video has been helpful to you, and subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.